All right, we are here with the owner of the Real Bro entry. His name is Casey. He goes by Bones. And I would argue he has the best remaining entry left in Circa Survivor. 1 of 10, fighting for $18.72 million. Casey, before we start talking about your journey in Survivor this year, your chances of winning this thing, etc., if you can give our listeners a little bit of background, how long you've been playing Circa Survivor for? Have you made deep runs in the past, etc.?
My partner and I have been playing it since the first year. The first year we chopped it, I think it was 35 ways. I think we just kind of bricked off for the next couple of years. Last year, I think we had 2 entries with about 100 left. Kind of made an unfortunate strategic decision. We had the opportunity to split. I think we had Kansas City and Dallas, and I think we played to Dallas. Was it Washington? No, we had Washington, sorry. It was a Washington-Dallas game that we busted. So we ended up splitting them, or not splitting them. We put them both on the same one, or both on Washington, hoping to save Kansas City for the holiday. It didn't work out for us. We lost the game, so try to kind of carry that into this year a little bit. And this year's gone really well. Or let me correct that. The last 5 weeks have gone really well.
Got you. How are you feeling about where you stand right now? As I said, I think you have the best remaining entry. You're 1 of 5 with Dallas left for Christmas. You're 1 of 3 that has Houston left available to use this week. And then you're the only one that has Jacksonville left potentially for a nice hedge spot in week 18. How are you feeling? How would you describe your level of, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but optimism or whatever emotions you're feeling right now?
And it's exciting. I got to say, I've been gambling for a living for almost 20 years. This is probably the biggest spot that I've ever had by quite a bit. You try to not get ahead of yourself and get too excited. I'm a poker player by trade, so to speak. So, you try not to celebrate before the last card comes out. You don't celebrate till the tournament's over. So I'm trying to, stay calm and, make good decisions. I mentioned on the last podcast, this week and next week, it just kind of play themselves for us. So, just trying to stay focused and, hope for the best. Try to figure out what the best hedge and save spots are for us. And, just try to make good decisions. We have a couple of investors, so we try to do the best thing for their money and our money and, hope for the best.
Very good.
But yes, I'm really fucking excited. Sorry.
See, there we go. I love it. As you should. I was going to ask if you're hooked up to a heart rate monitor because it really has to be, So for you, you said the next couple of weeks play them out a little bit. Does that give you any breath? You talk about the hedging. I mean, it must be bananas what goes on in your head. And you gamble for a living. Imagine folks that have these entries that are trying to figure out hedging. I mean, that would be more hard for me than anything is figuring out the hedge spots.
I think that, so the way that this pool kind of worked out with Thanksgiving is that everybody left understands that Survivor is not just about picking the best team. Right? Because all the favorites lost on Thanksgiving. There's more to Survivor than just looking at the spread, picking the highest money line, right? So this year kind of worked out in a way where just about everybody left is at least sharp, if not very sharp. So I would imagine that this year the remaining players are more equipped to not only, do the math and understanding the hedge spots, but also have the accessibility to get down large amounts of money, right? If it's just your average player, it's very tough to get down 200K on a hedge or whatever. Even as a professional gambler, it's very tough. I can't even imagine as just someone who has a job and has to do a whole bunch of stuff for the rest of the week. And then, on Friday, they try to get down 200K or whatever. That's stressful.
Yeah, absolutely. And depending on how this shakes out, I mean, 200K could be a small hedge by the end of this thing. I mean, there's a chance we're talking about, maybe 2 people going into the final week of this thing. There's a chance we could have a single winner of this thing, which we haven't had yet in Circa Survivor. So it's getting very, very exciting at this point. Can you give us
on Christmas, we're going to be hedging 7 figures maybe.
Wow.
I mean, it depends on how it works out, right? It depends on how many people are eliminated, what our equity is in the pool, but I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
Just in such a good position. So I have to ask you, are you professional gamblers? I look up to you, gentlemen and ladies. Are you an NFL fan or are you just a numbers guy?
No, I love NFL. It's my favorite thing to bet on. I love playing fantasy football. More than any sport, I love betting on NFL. I love gambling on NFL. I love watching NFL. I could watch a Jags-Titans game tomorrow.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
I wake up for the London games.
I love it. So from that standpoint, how much Thanksgiving Day, how many entries did you have? You certainly survived. Tell me a little bit about that week for you.
We had a few entries. It was probably the longest my partner and I had ever talked about what to do on the week. Obviously we know that the Eagles are probably not going to be a good play. Worked out better than we could have imagined. On those days, you just kind of hope for the best, and if you're right, awesome. If you're not, then, oh well, you move on. But yeah, our general strategy was just to kind of, Bears were our play. We hedged a bit and had some Eagles, but it's a little embarrassing to having played the Eagles, as it ended up being not a good spot at all. And it was a bit of a capitulation, and both of us kind of regret just not being all in on the Bears. But
Tony, and I'll let you get in, but as NFL fans, right? It wouldn't have surprised anybody. And I know it makes me sound like a non-math guy and a ball guy, but it would have surprised anybody if the Eagles get right and the Bears, who everybody thinks are getting lucky every week, and this crazy turnover margin. Like, it wouldn't have shocked anyone. And I feel like those that really watch the league can see both sides of a lot of these games.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder, all right, so you've got this decision that you regret a little bit about going one Philly, one Chicago, but you also told us that story of last year where you wish you had split. Did that story that you're telling yourself from last year have any role in it at all this year, or no?
This year, I think the Eagles were just an objectively bad play. Last year, I don't think either were a bad play. It was just a matter of Kansas City had a really good. I'm doing this from memory, and it's been a long year, but I remember Kansas City having a really good spot, and we wanted to kind of decide if we wanted to split them up or just be all in. Because the way that we had set it up is we had 2 consecutive weeks. We're going to be all in on Washington and then all in on Kansas City. Or we could split it up where we had one Washington and one Kansas City the next week, and we took a subpar entry on, I don't remember if it was Christmas, I think it was probably Thanksgiving. We decided to just go 2 and 2 and kind of sacrifice a bit of staying in the tournament to having this really good Kansas City spot on the holiday or whatever. So that was kind of our decision then. We could have split it up, and I think our EV would have been a little bit less, but we stay in the tournament more often. This one, Eagles are just bad. Like there's no way around it. And I know that it can be a bit of results-oriented thinking that, okay, so obviously a favorite loss, it had to be a bad play. We knew that the best case scenario for Eagles would be slightly losing play. And the worst case scenario for the Eagles it's just an absolute disaster. And it ended up being an absolute disaster. So we kind of knew it wasn't going to be a good play. And, like I said, it's a little bit embarrassing, but we did it, and whatever, move on.
So where are you from originally? Are you a fan of a specific team?
So that's actually kind of funny. I'm a lifelong Steeler fan. Okay.
Wow.
And I have become increasingly frustrated with the direction of the team. So this year, for the first time in my life, I bet the under on Steelers wins. I've been kind of anti-sweating them the whole year. I don't like the direction of the team. I thought the Rodgers thing was terrible. It's hard to root against them, but it's.
Yeah.
Well, forgive me for going down this road with you now, though. So I hear you. I felt the same way going in. I'm from Boston, so I'm a Patriots fan, but gosh, Watching last night, like I'm drinking the Aaron Rodgers Kool-Aid at this point, right? Never know, a home playoff game. The AFC,
AFC is wide open.
And right, it truly is. What, as a Patriots fan, you think I like the Patriots' chances more to emerge from the AFC than the Steelers? The defense started to look pretty good. You never know. DK Metcalf could be that dude.
I would love to have the Patriots and the Steelers. I think last night you have Tua in the cold. He just can't even function.
Fair.
Yeah.
They haven't beat any good teams. I don't think the Ravens are any good right now. I think it's a bunch of smoke and mirrors. But hey, if they make a run in the playoffs, great. I lose some money, but I have some fun.
He sounds like me talking about the Patriots. Like I'll tell you, and I'll just tell you right now, if you don't mind, Tony, I'm going down a rabbit hole. I'm a happiness hedge guy. I'm a Patriots fan. I will be having a heavy wager on the Ravens money line so that either the Patriots shut everybody the fuck up about this Buffalo game, or I get paid. One of the two. Call me whatever you want, but it's going to be good and bad either way for me Sunday.
I love it. Casey, looking ahead to this week, where is your head at for where you're going this week? I think I know the answer, but I kind of want to get it officially on video here.
Yeah, we're taking Houston. Don't really think it's close. I think there's only, let me pull this up. I think there's only one.
Three?
There's 3 Houstons, but I think there's only one that I would be surprised about. I would say Brad Lee has probably the closest choice.
Okay.
And I would assume that everybody else just kind of plays it out. Juicy Coochie can take Eagles or Niners, but I think one of them is a very obvious pick. And Bradley can take Eagles or Niners, and that's, he can decide how he wants to. I saw that Dylan W said he was going to take Niners. Yep. So I think Parts is taking Eagles. Gary is going to take Eagles. So I would imagine that Dylan is rooting for Bradley to take Eagles, would be my guess. I think this week kind of plays itself, next week kind of plays itself, and then 17 gets pretty interesting.
You don't think so we talked about how, and I think you agree with me, that you have one of the best entries, if not the best entry available so far. Do you think one of these guys toward the bottom, like maybe one of Galen's entries that just got Kansas City eliminated, or maybe Brad Lee, goes for a scoop this week, considering that they might be in trouble on Christmas? Could you see that scenario?
Let me pull up Brad's entry here, but the problem is like this week you don't have that many good pivots. Like I think aside from the obvious ones, I think the next highest one is like a 59%.
Saints?
Saints. I don't think that you can go from a 72 to a 59 or whatever. I don't think that makes any sense. They're still very live to make deals, to chop. Even if their entry is not great, it's not like, I think that's more of a play in week 18, right? We want to be on an island there. Here, being on an island is not worth a ton. I would just really not expect it. I mean, surprises happen, but I would lay a pretty big number. All right,
I want to give you a week 18 scenario because everybody has different opinions about when to hedge, when not to hedge. And I think professional poker players, professional gamblers think about it a lot differently than the average Joe. And you brought up a good point about how this field is comprised of mostly people that have kind of been here before. So just want to get your personal take on this hypothetical. 2 people left in Circa Survivor. You're one of the 2. You've got Jacksonville week 18. They're a 6-point favorite. The other person that you're going up against has the Bucks. They're a 4.5-point favorite. So your win probability is slightly better than theirs. Will you do an even chop with me? I'm that guy in that contest with you right now. Absolutely not. No even chop.
We can just hedge.
Right.
Like I can okay, so we win. We just run out the scenarios and we bet whatever, $3 million on whoever the Jags are playing. I think they're playing like Titans, right? Yeah, we spent $3 million on Titans money line or something, which is insane to say,
right?
But like, I understand that. I understand the words coming out of my mouth don't make any sense to the average person. But Circa is very cool in that they allow you they give you a line of credit with your entry, like when you get that deep. So they'll let us get that down. And I'm not sure, but I think you might be able to deduct that $3 million. I'm definitely not an accountant, but I think you might be able to deduct the $3 million if you lose it, which would be great.
We need to get a CPA on this show next, Jason, for sure.
Please do. I'm super interested about it. I hope it comes up.
Tony, you can, last thing from me, appreciate your time. You can be sure, Casey. So any hedging in past years that's noteworthy that you could get into at all?
No, only small stuff. I think the first year we might have done some very small stuff, but like the pool was small and I think our payout was only like $65K, which is still, it's a lot of money. But like going into that last week, there were 40 something left or whatever it was. So it was like kind of murky on how much we should hedge, because like if there's some like crazy thing that can happen, you know, the amount of money that we're risking or the amount of money that we stand to win was very unclear going in. If it's heads up at the end, you either win 18.7 million or you get zero. Like that's very clear. Or, you know, divided by 3 or divided by 4. Those are all very clear. And those scenarios are very clear to run. To do it for 35 people and maybe 5 or 6 teams that are being played, who knows, right? And then I don't think we've ever been deep enough to where I would consider hedging. Like last year, even with 100 something left, I think our 2 entries were worth $300K, but we might have done something small, but I don't remember. And you're still so far out that are you going to hedge like the last 7 games that are played? Like
I hear you.
All right, I know there's a right and a wrong answer to this question, but I'm just going to ask it anyways for fun. So when you're in this potential hedge scenario last week of the season, maybe this heads up situation that I just hypothetically threw out there, do you ever consider the point spread hedge and getting greedy and going for the middle? Maybe for 10% of your hedge, 5% of the hedge?
I honestly haven't thought about it. I would say that it would probably not be my first choice, but I would weigh the options. And you know, I try to find the best number I could for money line, best number I could for a side, and, you know, decide how much I want to gamble, I guess. I might do a small, like, point spread hedge and then a bigger money line hedge. It just kind of, that one is kind of just by feel, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I asked because there was, and I don't remember which entry it was, but I remember hearing a celebration story from last year where a bunch of guys were at Circa week 18 and they're celebrating, we won. And in all the excitement, someone goes, dude, we won our hedge too. And they had the middle hedge situation. So
nice.
Interesting spot to be in for sure.
I mean, that's the dream, right? You scoop it all. Scoop the 18.7, scoop the 3 million side bet or whatever, just to go.
Absolutely. Well, Casey, we appreciate your time. Jason and I are very much going to be rooting for you. We hope you take this thing home.
Good luck. Fucking win it, bro.
Good luck to the Real Bro entry. I think a lot of our listeners will be rooting for you as well because you're a chill, fun guy to talk to. So best of luck these last couple weeks, man. Take it home.
I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on.